righteous right hand, security for humanity. Don't you dare to worry, you're never alone. He's beside you, don't worry. Trust him with all of your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Jesus never forgot about me. He calls me by my name, his goodness. Oh, taste and you'll see. Oh, taste and you will see.
Hey Brian, did you finish the story of Nehemiah?
I'm still busy with it, but I was hoping to finish it today.
Good morning, amazing people. I'm so excited to be with you guys again today.
Hi Mr.
Hi,
Grewell.
Mr. Grewell.
So, what are y'all busy with?
We're busy with the story of Nehemiah. Allison and I were just speaking about it.
Yeah, we can learn a lot about Nehemiah. It's a pretty cool story.
Nehemiah sounds like a cool name. I would also like to learn more about his stories.
Oh, really? Well, I've got a cool video. Check this out.
Stories of the Bible. Nehemiah rebuilds the wall. This is Nehemiah.
That's me.
Who was a Jewish man who worked for a Persian king, Artaxerxes, the king of Babylon. Many of the Jews had been sent to Babylon years before because they had disobeyed God. One day, Nehemiah heard a report that the Jews who had returned to Judah were having a hard time, and that the walls of Jerusalem were broken down and the gates had been burned. This made Nehemiah sad. He didn't eat any food for days and prayed to God for the Jews. He told God he was sorry for the wrong things he and his people had done. He reminded God of his promises and that God had said, "If you obey my commands, I will gather you together again." Nehemiah asked for God to give him success as he went to ask the king for help. Nehemiah then went to do his job for the king. The king asked why Nehemiah was sad, so Nehemiah told the king about his people in Judah. Nehemiah prayed and told the king he wanted to rebuild the city of Jerusalem. He asked for letters from the king that would help him travel safely to Jerusalem and get the supplies he needed to rebuild the city. God helped Nehemiah, and the king gave Nehemiah all he asked for.
Phew.
Nehemiah went to Jerusalem and checked out the walls. He went to the people and said, "Come on, let's rebuild the wall of Jerusalem."
Let's do this.
And the people agreed and started that good work. Meanwhile, there were some officials from nearby lands who heard Nehemiah was rebuilding the wall and were upset.
Oh, man.
They laughed at the Jews and made fun of them. But Nehemiah said,
Hold on.
"The God of heaven will give us success. We serve him."
Nah, whatever.
Many Jews worked together to rebuild the wall, including the priests, men who worked with gold, a man who made perfume, leaders from nearby villages, servants, guard, traders, and daughters as well. All the people worked with all their hearts. The officials from other lands planned to fight the Jews. But the Jews prayed to God and put guards on duty day and night. Nehemiah stationed people to defend the city where it was weak. From that day on, half of the people did the work with swords at their sides, and the other half were armed to defend the people working and the city. Nehemiah reminded them, "Our God will fight for us." They worked from sunrise until the stars came out. After 52 days, the city wall was finally finished. All of Judah's enemies were afraid because they realized that God helped people finish the work. Jerusalem was large. It had a lot of room, but only a few people lived there. So God gave Nehemiah the idea to gather more people to come and live in Jerusalem now that the wall had been rebuilt. And many people returned home to Israel as God gathered his people together again. A teacher of God's law named Ezra came and read the book of the law to all people who could understand. Then they worshiped God and promised to follow God's commands.
So kids, like Nehemiah, who was persistent to do the will of God, even when he faced opposition from the king, and after many years of the walls being broken down in Jerusalem, as you guys have seen, Nehemiah heard the call of God to rebuild those walls. He was persistent to do the will of God. Even despite whatever your friends say, whatever other people say, it is important that we stay in the will of God. How do you know what the will of God is? Read your Bible. You'll find it in the scriptures. You'll be led by the Spirit to hear what is God's will for my life. Remember, the main emphasis, the main story behind Nehemiah is that I am called to do the will of God, despite whatever the world tells me to do.
Nehemiah was a great leader. Hey, Brian and Allison, can I join your Bible study this afternoon?
Most definitely.
Remember, kids, always, and I mean always, follow the will of God. From us, the Breakfast Squad. Till next time. Bye.
Bye.